Hi everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a login screen which validates whether the person is authorized to use the database. I've created a table with 4 fields: user ID, his name, password, and security level. The first one is auto number, and the other three are short text. You can change them if you require. This is just for demonstration purpose. And when I view it, you will see I've already entered the data there. If you want to hide the password, you can go to design view. For the password field, you can go to input mask and select password. That will put it as asterisk here. I don't want to do that now because I want to see the password when I'm checking my program. But once you finish and you're sure it's working, then you can change it to password input mask, and no one will be able to see the password from the file. Okay, once that is done, now we have to create a form. So I'll go to create. I'll have a blank form. Go to design. I will have a text box there. I will have another text box here. Here I'm going to type in the caption, username. Here I will type in password. Go to range. So both are of the same size. Just make it black and 12. Send it to back. That looks good. If you want to send make it left right align, you can do that also. Let's see how it looks now. When you see the form, it looks neat, though in the design some students tell me that it has a border. In the design it shows you a border, but when you actually view it, the border is not shown, which is a good feature. I'll just go to arrange and select stacked so that it comes closer to one another. Now I'll move this here. Let's preview. Yeah, it's perfect now. Just give it a label there on the top. I'll just save it. You can give whatever name you want. I'm giving it name temp so that at a later stage, if I want to delete it, I can delete it. I'll also add a, while I'm at this, I'll add a command button. This will be login. This will be cancel. Again, this range is extremely good to widest and to the tallest. Looks good to me. Yeah. I'll just change the names now so that we can use meaningful variables when we write the code. This is called txt0 by default. I'll set txt user and I'll select the second text box. I'll say txt password. First command button will be named as cmd login. That's the naming convention I'm following. And cmd cancel. So now I go to this login button, click on event, and on click I'm going to write some code. Alright, I'm going to go step by step because a lot of students have asked me to explain the code because many of them have not used Visual Basic and have found this difficult. So I'm going to go slowly so that when you go back and practice the code, you will not have any problem and it should work without any difficulty. Right. So the first thing is I'm going to see whether the user left the text box blank when he clicked the button. So I'm saying if is null, me dot, I'm looking at the first text box, txt user. So if this user is blank, then I'm going to give a message box, give an appropriate, please enter username. When I put a comma, the computer will give you some options that you can choose. I can say yeah, it will give me a list of options. I'll just say it is not critical, maybe information. Yeah, that should be okay. Comma, the title, as you can see, it is highlighted here. This is the title. So it is giving you good tips. I'll say it has to be in quotation marks because it's a message. Yeah. And I want the cursor to be in the same text box. So I'm going to say me dot txt user dot set focus. There's a method there which allows you to leave the cursor in that same text box. So that I've done it for the username. Now I want to do the same thing for the password because you cannot leave that blank either. Else if is null. This time txt me dot txt password. If this is blank, then just copy this enter password. Here also password request me.txt password dot set focus. So if the username is blank, you get an appropriate message. If the password is blank, you also get an appropriate message. If you don't get these two messages, that means the user has entered something, which is fine. So we are going to check. So else, if not, there's a very powerful function in VBA. It's called as DLOOKUP. That's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to say if bracket is null, DLOOKUP when I open the brackets, it will allow me to input three parameters. The first one is the field name. The second is the table name, and the third is the criteria. It works very similar to the SQL statement. So the first one is the field name, second one is the table name, and the third one is the criteria. So let's go back and check table for the contents. So as you can see here, the table name is login details. You can just make a note. Then you have username and password as your fields. Let's go back here. So first parameter is field name. So I'm saying username, comma. Now it wants the table. The table is login details. The last parameter is the condition. So I'm going to say that is also a string. Username equals whatever is in the text box. Since that is a string, I'll put a single quote there. Ampersand is to concatenate, to combine the strings, followed by me.txt user, followed by that single quotes to complete this condition. So basically you're saying username is equal to what's in the text box, and because it's a string, we're putting single quotes around the text. I'll close the brackets. 1, 2, 3. I've opened 3, so I close 3. Or I can put underscore so that I can write in the next line. Otherwise, you can go in the same line. To make it easy, I'll just copy the same thing here. Now this time my field is password. The table name remains the same. And now my field name is password equals, it's going to be the other text box, which is the password text. Don't need the if here, or this is this. Then I know it has to be then. Now the compiler is happy. If this statement is false, then I'm going to say You have entered incorrect details. You can select VB critical now and to close the brackets. Oh, you don't need the brackets because I'm not assigning it to anything. Smart compiler. Else, everything is fine. I'm going to see login successful. Will not use the critical style. I'll just go down and I'll say information. Your message. Now what I have to do is I have to open the form that I want. So I can say do cmd, that's the command, dot open form, and in quotation marks I have to give the form name. So I'll just go and check what is the form name we want to call. I'll call this splash form for now. And everything seems to be going smoothly. Save it. Form view. Spelling mistake. Else. Also I noticed something else. There is an end if missing. Visual Basic. There are two ifs. I noticed there's another one here. So this if goes for this block and this if goes for the outer blocks. Okay, let's. First thing is please enter the username. You can see there. So I'll just say I don't know the details. Okay, I know one student, Anwar. I want to pass a name to the other form. So I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, now I can put the arguments, open args. So I'll just say the username, which is the user, and before that I'll assign the user here. So I'll say user equals me dot txt user. Okay, now I go to this splash form. This is the form which I want to open. In the event procedure, I just added a picture and a label, that's all. created this form, I go to the event procedure. Here I declared a variable as string, and whatever the argument is passed to this form, I'm storing it in variable my name, and then on that LBL message caption I'm going to say welcome followed by the name, so it will give a personalized welcome message. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to click OK. Yeah, so I'm going back. Let's demonstrate and see what happens. Form view. Now if I put anything incorrect, it will give me an error, which is what it should do. Now if I put correct username password, and you can see that name has been passed to the splash form, and you can have a form like this welcoming the user, and maybe you can provide a command button. When you click that command button, you can take him to the main menu, or you can display the message on the main menu itself. It depends how you want to do it. Alright, I hope this video was useful. You may encounter some problems, but try to follow all the instructions by pausing the video, and I'm sure you will be able to do this successfully. It's a very useful option to have in any program, and because of the code, it will allow this particular aspect of your program to be classified as a complex one compared to the basic features of creating tables, queries, reports. Here you need a little more skill, and this will help you to achieve those higher marks possible. Alright, and thank you for watching.